When you're 18, broke, and living alone in New York City, desperation hits differently. I didn't expect one question to change everything. I thought I was straight. I thought I knew who I was. But that night, everything shifted. I had just come home from another exhausting day of job hunting, walking blocks in the heat, dropping off resumes, getting fake smiles and empty promises. I was tired, broke. And when I saw that pink slip taped to my door, my stomach dropped. 15-day eviction notice. I stood there staring at it, trying to breathe, pretending I wasn't scared out of my mind. I didn't have family to turn to. I didn't have savings. I barely had enough to eat that day. This apartment was the last thing I had, and now that was slipping too. I remember the landlord lived upstairs. Tyler. He was maybe late 20s, always quiet but polite. I'd noticed a rainbow flag on his door, the kind smile when we'd pass each other in the stairwell. He was gay, I knew that much. And me? I was straight. Or at least I thought I was. I don't know what came over me, but I grabbed a pair of gray sweatpants from the floor and threw them on, not because I was planning anything. I was just desperate, and a part of me wondered if he'd see me differently. I didn't even know what I was doing. I knocked on his door. He opened it almost immediately, like he had been right there. His eyes met mine, and I could already see the answer on his face. James, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. You're already behind. I have to follow the lease. I couldn't breathe. Something in me panicked, and in the most awkward, uncertain voice, I muttered, "Is there another way I could pay?" He blinked. Silence stretched in the hallway. "Kid," he said, but then stopped himself. There was this look in his eyes, not just shock, not just temptation, but confusion too. Then he stepped aside. "Come in." I didn't know what to expect. I didn't think I'd get this far. But something about the way he looked at me, curious, unsure, maybe even concerned, made my chest tighten. That night changed everything. I wasn't sure what I was doing or why it felt so safe, even comforting. I didn't consider myself into guys. But Tyler wasn't just a guy. He was gentle, patient, kind. What surprised me most wasn't what we did. It was how I felt afterward. I didn't feel dirty. I didn't feel ashamed. I felt wanted, seen. It scared me more than anything. When I stepped into Tyler's apartment, everything felt heavier. The air, the silence, even the look in his eyes. It wasn't awkward, but it wasn't casual either. It was something else. Like we both knew we'd just crossed a line, and there was no going back. He motioned toward the couch. I sat. My heart was racing so fast I could hear it in my ears. Tyler poured 2 glasses of water and sat across from me. "Look," he said, "you don't owe me anything. I don't want you to feel like you have to do something just because you're struggling." I nodded slowly. "I know. I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to be." He studied me for a moment, not like he was checking me out, but like he was trying to read between the lines. "Are you sure?" No one had ever asked me that before. If I was sure, if I was ready, not in that kind of way. "Yeah," I said, quieter this time. "I think I am." We didn't jump into anything wild. It wasn't like that. Tyler wasn't like that. He took his time. Even just sitting next to me felt electric. His hand brushed mine. His knee touched my leg. It was soft, slower than I expected, almost gentle. And when he finally leaned in and kissed me, it was like I stopped thinking completely. I didn't know I could feel that way. I didn't know something that started out of desperation could feel so safe. We didn't do everything that night, but we did enough that I couldn't stop thinking about it afterward. Not just the physical stuff, though yeah, there was that too, but how he held me after, how he looked at me like I was more than just some kid downstairs. When I went back to my apartment, my body felt like it was floating, and my brain was a mess. I thought I was straight. At least, I'd always told myself I was. But nothing I'd felt before compared to that night. Nothing came close. And the wildest part? I couldn't wait to see him again. I told myself I'd only go upstairs at one time. Just once. Just until I figured something else out. But after that night, nothing felt the same. Not the silence in my apartment. Not the food I barely tasted. Not even the job rejections piling up on my phone. I couldn't stop thinking about Tyler. It wasn't just the way he touched me, though, yeah, that was part of it. It was the way he saw me, listened to me, talked to me like I mattered, even when I felt like I didn't. I'd never felt that from anyone, not even girls I dated. This was different. It felt like we fit somehow, like we understood each other without saying much at all. I went upstairs again 2 days later, this time with no excuse. He opened the door with that same quiet smile. "I was wondering if you'd come back," he said. "Yeah," I replied, rubbing the back of my neck. "I couldn't stop thinking about you." He let me in, but something in his eyes had shifted, like a wall had gone back up. We sat down, the silence a little heavier than before. "James," he finally said, "I don't want to confuse you, or make you feel like you owe me something. I've been through something before, thought it was real, got burned." I swallowed. "So, did I? Different kind of burn, I guess. I don't know what this is. I only know I want to be around you." He looked at me, not with pity, not with doubt, but with something else. Something like hope mixed with fear. "Maybe we take this slow," he said. I nodded. "Yeah, slow is good." But as I sat beside him, closer than I probably should have, I realized something. Whatever this was, I didn't want to stop it. And maybe I wasn't just doing this because I needed help. Maybe I was staying because part of me wanted to. It had been about a month since that first night. Tyler and I weren't exactly a couple, but I wasn't just the renter from downstairs anymore either. He'd text me to come up. I'd find excuses to linger after we watched something on Netflix or a shared takeout. It was casual, supposed to be anyway, but nothing about how I felt was casual anymore. I'd wake up thinking about him. I'd fall asleep with his scent still on my hoodie. I'd go job hunting all day, just waiting for a reason to knock on his door again. And every time he smiled at me like I mattered, I felt like I'd finally found a place I fit. And not just physically. One night, I brought over 2 milkshakes. He'd mentioned craving them once, offhandedly. So I walked 3 blocks just to surprise him. We sat on the couch, laughing over a dumb comedy, and somewhere in between leaning against him and sipping vanilla ice cream through a straw, it slipped out. "I love this," I said. He raised an eyebrow. "This? Us?" I admitted. I think I love you." The room went still. I instantly regretted it. My chest felt tight, like I couldn't breathe. But then he set his shake down and turned to me, his expression softer than I'd ever seen it. "I didn't think I'd ever hear that again," he said. "Not from someone real. Not after what I went through." My stomach dropped. I didn't mean to say it like that. "No," he cut me off gently. "You meant it. I can tell." Then he leaned in, resting his forehead against mine. "And the scary part is, I think I love you too." We didn't kiss right away. We just sat there in that quiet moment, breathing the same air, letting it settle in. And in that second, I didn't care what I was before. Straight, confused, broke, scared. None of it mattered. All that mattered was him. Us. Whatever this was becoming. After that night, after the words "I love you" hung in the air between us, I couldn't stop thinking about what came next. It was like I'd crossed a line I didn't even know existed, and I wasn't sure if I should be excited or scared. I stayed over at Tyler's more often now, not just for the obvious reasons, but because I wanted to. There was this weird feeling of contentment in his apartment, like everything just clicked. It felt like home, and I hadn't really had that sense of belonging anywhere, at least not in a long time. But as much as it felt right, there were still a million things I didn't know. About him, about myself, about us. One evening, we were sitting on his couch, my legs stretched out across his lap, while he fiddled with his phone. There was a quiet hum in the background, the sound of the city just outside, the buzz of the fridge, our breathing in sync. I loved it, but it also made me realize how much I want to know more about the future, about what we were doing here. "Tyler," I started, my voice a little unsure. "What happens when I get my life together? When I get a steady job? I don't want to keep taking advantage of whatever this is." He looked down at me, his thumb brushing over the edge of my knee as if to calm my nerves. "James, This isn't about taking advantage of anything. If you need a place to stay, I'm happy to have you here. If you need me, I'm here. But I don't want you to feel like I'm using you." He chuckled softly, the sound warm in my heart. "You're not using me. You're here because I want you here. I don't need anything more than that right now." But I wasn't sure I believed him. Or maybe I was just scared. I don't know where this goes. I admitted I don't know what happens next. But I don't want to be alone anymore. Tyler set his phone down, his gaze serious now, though still gentle. Neither do I. For a moment, we just sat there, no need for words, just understanding. But it was then that I realized something. I didn't have to have all the answers right away. We were figuring this out together. Whatever this was, it was real, and that was all that mattered.